Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, or welcome if you are new to my channel. Glad to have you here. So, we're going to go ahead and kick off my summer horror DVD movie review series with the first movie that we're going to take a look at here. And that movie is one that's pretty well known from the early 2000s, and surprisingly, it's a movie that I'd only seen once, and that was probably about 3 or 4 years after it originally came out. Um, and that movie is the original Jeepers Creepers. And I have this 2-pack here that has the first two Jeepers Creepers movies. I have yet to see the second one. I've never seen that one before, but at some point I'll get to it. But today we're going to talk about the original Jeepers Creepers from 2001. So, yeah, like I said, I watched this movie like in 2006 or something, but at that time I wasn't quite as invested in horror. But I do remember watching it from beginning to end, thinking it was creepy. So it did have some staying power there. But yeah, it's kind of weird that this is the first time almost 20 years later that I watched it all the way through again. So let's just go ahead and get into Jeepers Creepers from 2001. Um, so Jeepers Creepers is a 2001 horror film written and directed by piece of shit Victor Salva. I'll get into a little blurb about him at the end. Don't worry. It stars Gina Phillips and Justin Long as siblings returning home for spring break who encounter a violent truck driver portrayed by Jonathan Breck. The film takes place. The film takes its name from the 1938 song featured in the film under a version by Paul Whiteman. Patricia Belcher and Eileen Brennan also appear in supporting roles, with Salva making a cameo appearance. So basically, the movie opens with Trish Jenner and her brother Dari are traveling home from college for spring break. As they drive through the Florida countryside, an old truck violently tailgates them but eventually passes. During their drive, they discuss an urban legend of the road they are currently traveling, of a prom couple who disappeared. Their vehicle was recovered without the head of the prom girl, Darla. They later stumble on the same truck parked next to the abandoned church, with the driver dumping what appears to be bodies wrapped in blood-stained sheets into a large pipe sticking out of the ground. The driver then notices them, giving chase and forcing them off the road. With the driver gone, Dari convinces Trish to return to the church. Upon investigation, Dari hears strange noises emanating from the pipe and crawls inside, with Trish holding on to his feet. Trish accidentally drops Dari, who falls to the bottom and into the church basement. He finds a dying young man with stitches running down his stomach and numerous corpses sewn into the walls and the ceiling, including those of the missing prom couple from 23 years ago, with Darla's head sewn back on. Dari locates an exit, and he and Trish flee to the scene to seek help at a nearby diner. Let me start over. Dari locates an exit, and he and Trish flee the scene to seek help at a nearby diner. However, they receive a cryptic warning call from a mysterious woman who predicts their imminent danger, mentioning a future encounter with a cat lady and playing the song Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? Okay, well, I promise I won't do that again. Suggesting that one of them will meet a terrifying fate while hearing it. So, yeah, that's the setup and the premise for Jeepers Creepers, the original from 2001. As far as the cast goes, we have Gina Phillips as Trish Jenner, Justin Long as Dari Jenner, Jonathan Breck as the Creeper, Patricia Belcher as Giselle Gay Hartman, and Eileen Brennan as the Cat Lady. So yeah, there's their setup, premise, and cast for the original Jeepers Creepers. Wow, this is a fantastic horror movie. I really didn't even realize it at the time. Like I said, I think I was just in the wrong mindset at the time that I watched this originally. But now that I'm really into horror and really exploring horror, I can really appreciate this film. And I'll say right off the bat, this is definitely one of the better horror movies post 2000. So let's just go ahead and get into why, starting with the things that I like about the movie, the pros. The setting. I love my highway horror, man, and the setting of this movie. Not only do you have this road highway kind of horror that the movie starts out with, that these siblings are traveling on, you also get the sort of off road, small town, middle of nowhere, countryside parts of America that this movie is set in. It really works well, and it works well for this premise. And I really enjoyed the overall setting, just sort of the outdoors, countryside, and the movie does a great job of shooting that countryside as well. So when it's not on the highway, which is great, it's still great because it's off highway, in the right sort of mindset as far as countryside out in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, the setting is the first thing that really stands out for me. Next, I have to talk about Gina Phillips and Justin Long, who both do a fantastic job as portraying these siblings. Their conversations and dialogue feels really authentic and real, and their overall acting, especially given the situation the characters they're portraying are in, is very well done. I believe their fear, I believe their dialogue between each other, just kind of everything about them. Their characters are easy to follow and likable to follow, relatable characters, especially as siblings. And we care when you watch this movie. The hardest thing for a horror movie to do is give us characters that we actually care about at the end of the movie, and we definitely do here. And that's a testament, I think, not only to the character writing, but certainly of Justin Long and Gina Phillips, who both do a fantastic job. Really, the acting overall is good in this movie. But those two are the main characters, you might say, along with Jonathan Breck as the Creeper. But even the side characters are good. The acting's definitely not an issue here. The look of the Creeper, man, it's really well done. I forgot how good it was, frankly, from the first time I watched it. Just incredibly effective and scary looking without being cheesy or CGI. Great makeup, costume effects that really work. Also, this character is performed quite well by Jonathan Breck. Just with what he does, his movements, how he portrays the character. Chef's kiss. I mean, the Creeper, as a result of all these things, the Creeper is one of the most iconic horror villains post 2000 for sure, but it's really put itself in the all-time horror villain category just with this one movie. And of course, it has 3 other movies as well, which I haven't seen. But I will at some point, especially the second one. But yeah, just the look of the Creeper, what the Creeper does, the creepiness of him, exactly what it is, like the mystery surrounding him and the invincibility, the wings that come out, that as the movie goes on are what's the word I'm looking for? Not, I want to say displayed to us, but that's not right. That we see as audience members and the characters see once these wings morph. Everything about the character is top notch, man, as a horror villain. It really is. The movie does a really good job of peeling back the onion and the different layers to what's going on with this villain, both in an unfolding story kind of way and mystery, as well as the horror aspects that are at play here. I found the narrative really effective overall in this movie. The music and the score used here is really effective. It kind of has a Harry Manfredini sort of score, but then especially you get the Jeepers Creepers song that obviously plays into this movie in a very unique way, and because of that, it's very catchy, but also terrifying when it's played at certain times throughout the movie. The movie has some really interesting and unique ideas with the Creeper, what he does, like regenerating through using victims' body parts that he captures, as well as being able to sniff out his victims, basically. So he literally will smell anybody he comes across, and he smells based on their fear. And if they have the kind of fear that he likes, then he captures them and uses their body parts, basically. Otherwise, he throws them aside. I thought that was very interesting and different, and I really like that aspect of it. Grim and creative. The movie, I would say, is genuinely scary, and you won't hear me say that very often when it comes to horror movies, but there's nothing cheap or jump scary or lazy about the scares in this movie. They're legitimate time-inducing scares that are either in the background or just presented in such a way in front of the camera that's very believable and uneasy. Like when they're driving in the car early on in the movie and all of a sudden this truck is way in the background, and it gets closer and closer, and they're sitting there talking and having a conversation, and all of a sudden, like, the truck is literally like on their bumper, bopping his horn, and it's not a jump scare because you can see it coming. It's so effective though. And then there's, like I said, the appearance of the creeper, but then also as the creeper's morphing into what the creeper ultimately becomes at the end of this movie is very effectively scary, with these large creature wings and its invincibility, its regenerative ability. Yeah, it's great. Very unsettling and creepy, and right up to the ending scene, man. That iconic ending scene where you see a certain character's head without any eyeballs, and all of a sudden the creeper fills it in, and you see his eye. That to me is one of the best endings of a horror movie, certainly in the last 20-25 years. Sorry. Excuse me. Very effective, a very creepy way to leave the audience. And then, of course, you have the Jeepers Creepers music playing in the background, which, given the context of this movie and what's explained to us, just adds to the creepiness and the effectiveness of this movie ending. So, yeah, I could go on about some of the great things that I haven't mentioned here with Jeepers Creepers. From a technical standpoint, it's very well shot. Some of the shots they have, like when Justin Long's character falls down this he falls down like this construction tube. What do they call it? Pipe. He falls down this pipe, and he's laying there at the bottom, and this is the way the camera pulls back and focuses on him, all the way to the truck approaching when they're on the highway, to the different angles of the creeper when it's being revealed at different times. Just excellent. So yeah, those are my pros for Jeepers Creepers from 2001. As far as cons go, I don't really have a lot. There's two big ones. Well, one big one. That'll be my last one. The second half of the movie obviously doesn't have quite the highway mystery that goes on in the first half of the movie, which I absolutely love. Not to say the second half of the movie is a drag or anything, or a disappointment, but it is missing that, because once Giselle shows up at the police station and sort of gives us the exposition dump, as I'll call it, that sort of explains what's going on, what this creature is, why he's here, who he's after, all those type of things. Again, it's done in a way that's not cheap, and it doesn't ruin anything. But for me personally, the first half of this movie I'm a little bit more on edge, just because I'm not sure about what's going on or what these characters are discovering. And once we kind of know, then it's more of just how are they going to escape this kind of thing. But still very effective. But that's just a slight con. And then, of course, the big con, I kind of mentioned at the opening, is, of course, the personal side of Victor Salva, which is obviously terrible. I don't think anybody's going to defend Victor Salva, but it's a case where some people can separate the art from the artist. And that's kind of what I'm doing with my review here. As far as art goes, it's top notch, especially for post 2000s. As far as the artist goes, scum of the earth. It's kind of a shame. It's sad, really, because Victor Salva, as an artist, really has an eye for horror. He really knows what he's doing. I know he directed some other movies besides the other Jeepers Creepers movies. I think he did Clown House. There's a couple other ones that I have yet to check out that are in my collection, but it's a shame that he's such a piece of shit in real life, but it is what it is. But yeah, separating the art from the artist. But yeah, that has to be a con, just because of the director's personal life and everything associated with that. But as far as the movie itself goes, not much to shit on here. So I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I think it's that good of a horror movie from 2001. So 9 out of 10 for the original Jeepers Creepers. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys think of the original Jeepers Creepers movie. Not the director from a personal standpoint, but the movie. Do you like it more or less? Why not? Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews, not only for the rest of this August series, for my summer horror movie series, but also what I have coming out after that throughout the rest of the year. You don't want to miss any of my great horror content coming up. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you're doing well. And as always, stay scared. Bye.